requested that you.
Hi.
Hi, how are you?
Good, good. How are you?
Doing well, doing well. So everyone, please give a warm welcome to Dr. Jendai Echezona.
I'm excited to be here.
Awesome. As mentioned, she is the founder of Premier Pain and Wellness, and she specializes in chronic pain as well as medical aesthetics. So we'll touch on that a little bit in our live, but we're mainly going to focus on food as medicine.
Good.
So
I'm excited. I hope everyone's excited to learn. Um, I think, getting to know us will be a good idea and, put some questions or comments in the chat and we'll see if we can address them.
perfect, perfect. So I get a lot of questions often asking, what exactly does an anesthesiologist do? How does this really relate to medicine? So I just wanted to start this chat off just clarifying a few things so that people understand a little bit about who we are, our backgrounds, and then we can dive a little bit deeper into our specific subspecialties. So as an anesthesiologist, we are basically the safeguards to the surgical perioperative area. So anything that deals with a patient needing surgery, as well as critical care medicine. We specialize in critical care medicine, pain management, and taking care of the anesthetic needs of surgical patients. So where I fall into things, I'm actually fellowship trained with an expertise in regional anesthesia and acute pain management. There are several subspecialties within the specialty of anesthesiology. So introduce yourself and tell us a little bit more about you, your background in anesthesiology, and how your practice came about.
Sure. So again, I'm Dr. Jendai Echezona. I'm the founder of Premier Pain Care and Wellness, and I'm an anesthesiologist that did a fellowship in pain management. So my office also offers pain management and aesthetic services. So that's all things beauty, cosmetics, anti-aging, just rejuvenation and wellness at large.
I mean, look at her skin. She looks fabulous.
Thank you. So, how did Premier Pain Care and Wellness come about? So, to some, like make a long story short, right during my training in anesthesiology, I knew I wanted to do pain management. I wanted an option outside of the OR as well. And I worked my first job in a hospital doing a mix of both anesthesiology and pain medicine. But I quickly realized that I wanted to focus more on pain management and open my own private practice. So I started doing per diem anesthesiology a few days a week while I worked on opening my own practice. So I was interested in aesthetics for my own personal reasons. And while I was part-time, I started taking courses in aesthetics and doing different injections and learning about skincare. So
What,
initially, huh?
what procedures and what type of
Yeah, so I was learning Botox, fillers, microneedling, learning about lasers, medical grade skincare. And at first I was learning for myself and I was like, oh, maybe I'll just, help out my friends and family. But as I was actually building the practice, I'm like, why would I not offer this in my own practice? So then I'm like, you know what? I can do both. And that's how Premier Pain Care and Wellness came about.
I mean, so basically your self-care and your routines evolved into actually helping other people and your patients.
Exactly. So it was for personal reasons at first, but then I'm like, why not share? Like, there's no secret behind what I
Right.
do for myself. A lot of the treatments I offer, I may have had done myself, and I share. People say, what do you do to your skin? I'll let them know. There's no secrets.
Wonderful, wonderful. So similar to you, I wanted to pursue an avenue outside of the operating room. Currently, I am a full-time anesthesiologist practicing at a level one trauma center. So we're very busy. A
We
lot
need
of
you.
car accidents. We take care of people that have been in various types of traumas, whether it's from a gunshot wound to motor vehicle accidents, as I mentioned, to complicated surgeries such as liver transplants, kidney transplants, etc. You name it, we do it. But sometimes you don't want that stress
All
every day,
that action.
and you have to figure out how to manage some of your stress. And one of my outlets is food. So I started the Spice Theory out of my love for food and my combination love for medicine. So I married the two, and so the spice theory was born. The spice theory really is the culmination of making sure that you can treat patients effectively and the people that you love through food. So I looked at it as, why can't we enjoy the food we love? Because I'm big on supporting your culture. I'm Jamaican. I know that you are half Jamaican as well.
Yes.
So enjoy the food that you love, but don't compromise your health. So one of the things within our community, and when I say our community, I'm specifically referring to people of color, Black and brown people, we have about 30 times a higher likelihood of dying from cardiovascular disease. And one of the things that we can do to prevent that is attacking it through the food that we eat and making better choices. So a lot of salt content can be lowered. My spices, my spice blends are crafted without any additives, no preservatives, no MSG, and purposely crafted with 55 to 75% less sodium than comparative blends. So it's not Goya. Our adobo blend is filled with salt like Lowry's, but it's still going to be flavorful. So I
But
just
it's good.
understand the full concept behind things and where we're going with the spice theory.
And I think I should say we met because I heard about the spice theory and I purchased it myself to try. So I just started following Shop Spice Theory, and then I fished around to see who's behind this. And I saw Dr. Corrie Amos, and I think I just friended you on IG because I was buying into what you were putting out there.
And here we are, two business entrepreneurs, two anesthesiologists, moms, wives, owner of businesses, and we're still doing it. Thank you so much for the support, but more importantly, how do you like the product?
The products are amazing. I've been cooking with a few. So I first started out with the, I think I started with the jerk marinade, and then I had the Scotch bonnet sea salt, and now I just got the adobo blend and the Fern Gully. So I'm excited to use those, but I use it on a lot of seafood because I'm trying to stay away from the meat. So it works well with like fish and shrimp. So I'm loving it.
So I'll tell you, Fern Gully, which is our garlic herb pepper blend, is a fan favorite. Everyone loves it. All the customers rave about it. And I will say, of the orders that are multiple orders, the second time order, third time, fourth time order, it's usually the Fern Gully. The Welcome to Jamrock is a close second. The jerk spice rub is a close second, but the Gully is it for everyone.
Good. So what's in that one specifically in the Fern Gully? So maybe we can talk a little bit about what's in that one and maybe what draws people to it other than the flavor, like maybe it's some of the health benefits in that one.
Wonderful. So for me, the whole purpose of using food as medicine is to give people the autonomy to really take control over their own health and their body. So the Fern Gully is made with garlic as the base, roasted garlic. So it's not just your regular garlic. You take the time to actually roast the garlic, make sure it's well dehydrated and really crafted with love. We also have Aleppo pepper, which is a specific, very smoky, peppery flavor without the heat of, let's say, a Scotch bonnet pepper or a habanero, along with all the herbs you can think about, the oregano, the basil, the thyme, etc. I won't give away all the secrets with everything that's in it, but
yes.
I bring up garlic because garlic has a lot of great properties.
That is my favorite, and I'm always telling patients, like, do you like garlic? Put that in your food, because for me, I love garlic for its anti-inflammatory properties.
Exactly.
And a lot of pain is caused by inflammation, so I'm always telling people, add that garlic, add that ginger, add that turmeric. I'm like, you can use your food to help treat your body.
Exactly. We completely agree on that. And for me, garlic is everything. I don't know anything I don't put garlic on.
Same. Sometimes I'm accused of using too much garlic, but I'm like, I don't think there's such a thing.
Exactly. So many properties of garlic: anti-inflammatory, anti-tussive. If you've ever heard anybody say, gargle some garlic when you're sick, there's a reason why they're saying that. A lot of our medicines, a lot of our prescriptive medicines are rooted in herbal medicine. So let's go back to the basics. Let's go back to
Yes.
the origins. Give it the real respect that it's due and use
Yes.
these properties to their benefit. And that's really what the spice theory is about. Just making sure that we're one with nature, with ourselves, and using these properties as it was meant to be used to heal ourselves from within.
Yes, yes. And I think sometimes when people come for pain management, they're thinking like she's going to like prescribe me some pills to take for my pain. And while that may be a small component of what I do, we often do discuss diet. We often do discuss like what are you eating and what herbs and spices are you using? And I think treating people as a whole, like looking at their lifestyle, right? What are they doing? How can you help yourself instead of just relying on some outside medication to help you?
Agreed. And
Yeah.
lifestyle medicine is a thing. Lifestyle medicine is a
Yes.
you and I both connect on this. We're both interested in pursuing lifestyle medicine with further education and certification, which really revolves around looking at medicine from a preventative standpoint, making
Yes.
sure you're getting enough rest, making sure you're mindful of exercise, of what you're putting into your body.
Yes.
Whether that's food, making sure you're avoiding substances that are heavily addictive,
Yes.
but also making sure you have a close-knit community around you. And speaking of community, I just wanted to kind of segue into a
Hmm.
little bit about your personal lifestyle. We mentioned earlier that you own your own practice, and I just saw some billboards in Connecticut. Shout out,
Yes. Yes.
thing is definitely on the up and up, and I love to see it. But yes, you own your own practice. You're a mother of two. You're a wife, business owner, anesthesiologist. How do you do all of this and keep yourself sane?
Yeah, so it is not easy. So I never act like I have everything going on. You know, we're all human, we're all taking things in stride.
Right.
But I largely rely on my village, right? Like they say it takes a village, and it's so true. So I try to surround myself with people who add to my life. Whether that's, keeping my healthy social connections to keep me sane. I'm fortunate to live around a lot of friends and family. So I have those social connections that I can draw into.
Right.
As being a mother, I have help with my children. So I think having that family around also allows me the benefit of having help, in the household too, because you go to work and have so much responsibility there, and then you come home and it's not like everything just ends. So I think having a strong community around you is very helpful. I also, as far as being a business owner, I try to tap into other people too, right? Like, why do we always have to keep reinventing the wheel, right? So I try to align myself with other business owners or like-minded people. Maybe you've done this before, or maybe you're new too, and we can share ideas. What's working for you? What's not working? So that we don't have to keep reinventing the wheel and trying to figure things out and making the same mistakes. And I'm not shy to also consult with people. If you
Right.
need to hire a consultant to help you with the things you may not already know, that may be a very wise investment.
So you touch on a lot of key things. One, the need to let go of the struggle, and two, the social connections. I feel that it is important to always reach out and ask for help when you need help. There's nothing shameful about asking for help. And for me, that's in my personal life, that's in my professional life. If I have a patient that I want to run something by another colleague, I'm not afraid to do that. And at home, I also tap into my resources. I'm thankful, similar to you, to have a village around me. And that's important because for me, my young children, we need a village. In the room next door, we have Jair, he's 9. We have Zion, it's 2. It's about his bedtime. And Phoenix, he's 1. It's about her bedtime too. But my mom is here helping and definitely making sure that we stay grounded. I have to give a shout out to my husband as well, Chris, because he definitely helps and is a strong support system for me. But more importantly, we have an extended village. Our families, Chris and I, both of our families are from New York, as in that's where we are living as a home base. Everyone in our families are really from Jamaica.
Yeah.
But, New York is where we call home. So it's very good that you mentioned that social connectiveness because and I see Dr. Darcy Joseph in the comment mentioning that that's very crucial.
Yes, yes, yes,
It's
yes.
important, and it's a tenet of lifestyle medicine, making sure you stay connected to those who positively uplift you so that not only are you pouring into others, but people are also pouring into you.
Yeah, and I would say with like-minded individuals, for me, I'm very fortunate that I have a supportive husband too that helps me and motivates me, and the fact that he is very entrepreneurial and is used to running and operating businesses, he offers a lot to me and my business as far as one, support, and two, like logistics behind how to do things and get
Yeah,
things done. A lot of people have ideas but don't know how to execute. And
right.
sometimes I have an idea and I'm calling him and running it past him. And he's like, okay, this is what we're going to do. Or no problem. Or this is what I've done. So I'm fortunate that I have someone who pushes me, that motivates me, but also provides the help and the how to.
And it seems like he's a good sounding board as well.
Yes, yes.
Perfect, perfect. So, one of the things I do want to talk about when it comes to cooking and traditional meals, like I mentioned, I'm a Jamaican heritage, similar to you as well. How do you maintain staying relevant and true to your cultural norms and beliefs, but also transcending to a more healthy approach to your lifestyle and well-being?
Yes. So yeah, my background, I'm African American, and Jamaican, and my
Mhm.
husband's Nigerian, right? So
This is a nice little mashup.
there's a lot of food in this mix, right? And I
Yes.
think we're all used to our cultural foods that we eat, and we don't want to give that up completely. So I think sometimes we have to maybe alter how we cook things. Sometimes I'm substituting what I'm using. That's not taking away from the, authentic flavor or taste.
Yes.
For me, with learning more about lifestyle medicine, I also learned that we want to have a more plant-based diet, or what I say, plant slant diet. So we're incorporating
I
more
like
of that. And I
plant.
think with African American cuisine, right, we've always had vegetables in there, right? So it's
Right.
just a matter of how you cook it, right? So we've always eaten our greens, right? Like collard greens, things
Mhm.
like that. So it's just a matter of how are you preparing it or what are you adding to it.
Right.
I love my curries, right? And I'm like, I love curry goat, curry chicken. And lately I'm like, okay, I can still have curry, right? But maybe I'm doing my curry chickpeas or something like
Right.
that. And I think, like you mentioned the salt content, like maybe if we're adding more spices, we can have less salt in there because it's the rich spices that flavor it and we don't need it to be so salty.
So what
So I
people,
think,
I would say, one thing people don't generally understand about salt is it's really a flavor enhancer. Salt itself is not a spice. It's just meant to augment whatever spices you're already using.
yes,
So if you choose to use more quality premier spices, you don't need to rely heavily on salt
yes,
to make sure you liven up your food. Because at the end of the day, the salt content is probably what's also driving a lot of the risk factors that we as a community have when it comes to high blood pressure. And there are some studies that relate the genetic linkage to different genes that may put us at a higher risk for high blood pressure. So why not combat that with using food that has less salt content, not relying on salt as a flavor enhancer, and just using better spices and herbs to prepare your meals for a more fresh, healthy, but yet flavorful
yes.
production.
I agree. I actually started like following like maybe some chefs and watching shows on cooking, and I was learning that too, but also learning if you're going to add a little like sodium or salt, that you're actually adding it on top of a little bit of the herbs or spices, the food you're putting on to bring out the flavor more. And in the end, you actually add less
Exactly.
salt to your meal. So I've actually been looking on strategies on how to cook, how to layer the foods in, and sometimes we're in a rush and I'm like throwing everything at once. And I was learning like, okay, if you put them in at different times and let them all kind of do their thing, let
Let
their
it
flavors come out like individually, then you don't need to add, all the salt. And I think we use the salt like to correct the other deficiencies, right? Like we're
Right.
not putting in the fresh vegetables and
Right.
herbs in there. So we're like, okay, something's missing. And then we're pouring the salt on.
And that's one of the reasons too within this spice line that I created that I have smoked gourmet sea salts. I wanted to present a premium product that did not have MSG, but that can be used again as a flavor enhancer, but without all of the added table salt that you have to sprinkle so much on. If you use it just as a finishing salt, once your meal is done, sprinkle a little on top just for the crunch, and you'll get that infused flavor of what's added to the salt. So for me, I have the smoked Scotch bonnet pepper sea salt. You don't need to use a lot, but it gives the added kick of the Scotch bonnet pepper. And what people don't know, because I don't necessarily advertise this on the packaging, it's actually smoked with apple wood. So it's a very premium product, similar to the Old Fashioned. That's the citrus smoked bourbon barrel sea
Mm.
salt. The sea salt is actually smoked with old bourbon barrel casket woods, and it actually contains a little lemon peel, a little orange peel, some ginger, some allspice to give it a nice, well-rounded flavor. So when you sprinkle a little on top of your food, and you're using it as a finishing salt, you're getting a nice zest, a nice flavorful surprise without having to use a lot of the content.
Yes. And you mentioned pepper, right? So for us, that's a big thing in this household, right? Like my husband and I, we love pepper. We love the heat. We love the spice. And we love the flavor. And pepper, as some of you may know, capsaicin
Mm-hmm.
comes from peppers, right? And we use that also for pain management to control some
Right.
of our pain. So
A
some of
lot
the
of
topical things we
great
use have,
property.
yeah, have the capsaicin in it. And eating it, I don't think people realize that eating it too is beneficial.
Agreed, agreed. So one thing I was very deliberate about is the packaging. So if you look at the back of the packaging, you'll see a little did you know section that details some of the ingredients and the medicinal properties of the ingredients on the packaging for the spice theory. So we touch on capsaicin. We touch on how it can be used as an anti-inflammatory well, not medication, but used for its properties, and how we can actually tap into other resources within the food that we're eating. So if you've purchased any of the Spice Theory, take a look at the back of the package, scan the QR code on the back of the package, and learn more about what food is actually in your spices.
Yep. I think that's so important. I think a lot of times we don't even know what's in the things that we're consuming. So I
Yes.
think while it's important to tell people these are good things to eat, it's also equally important to tell people these are things we should be avoiding. And
Correct.
it's hard for us to make a general list, but what I say is if it's sugary, if it's fast and super processed, you can probably bet it's not going to be good for you.
Right,
And it
right, right.
causes more inflammation.
And one thing I want to be clear of, I don't want to tell people what they should and shouldn't eat in a preachy way. I do want people to make good choices for themselves, but I want people more so to understand the choices that they're making. So while for me, I do try to limit the amount of red meat, I still enjoy my curry goat. I'm not gonna lie. I still enjoy some stew peas every once in a while. I
Yes.
still have red pea soup. I'm not telling people not to eat the foods that they like or that they love, but I am telling people that they should think about the amount that they're eating or
Yeah.
how they eat the foods that they love.
Yeah, and I think the more that you eat the things that are good for you, then the less room you have for the things that are not good for you. So instead
Right,
of saying you have to avoid this, you have to avoid that, just increase your list of things you want to incorporate. So if
right.
you're eating all these things that you want to incorporate for your health, hopefully there's less room for some of the things that aren't so great for you.
So on a personal note, tell me some healthy habits that you may
Mhm.
have that help to improve your self-care or to advance your self-care.
Okay, so one healthy habit, and anyone who's known me, they know sleep. Like, I'm not giving that up. I don't care. In college, I've never pulled an all-nighter. Like, it just isn't me. So I'm one of those people who needs sleep. And I think people don't realize how important things like sleep are for your overall health. And a
Right.
lot of people think, especially like sometimes that entrepreneurial spirit makes you think that when you're sleeping, you're missing out on these hours that you can be creating. But
Right.
I think you're actually more productive when you get the sleep that you need. So I am all about my sleep. I'm not sacrificing that for much. I only did when I didn't have a choice, like training and residency.
Right.
And in fact, when I finished, I said, I'm never taking call. Like that won't be my thing because I have to sleep. So that's one habit, healthy habit for me is like, I'm not sacrificing that for anybody. You know, if you ask friends of mine too, I've gone to sleep in a party. Like, all right, my time's up. I'll be against that wall over there.
Don't do that. Do not be that girl.
I am that girl. So don't bring me out late because I will embarrass you. So
Oh,
that's one thing. I do try to eat healthier, but I'm still a work in progress. So I'm doing one of those things, increasing what I think is better for me so that I have less room for the things that are not, because I
right.
can't sit here and say like, I don't like, you know, sweets or ice cream once in a while. And same as you, I can't say I don't eat meat. I do. I just try to eat less of it. So what I say is I'm just adding more of the things that are better for me. And then hopefully that's decreasing the things that are bad for me.
Yes. Yes.
And the other thing that I do that I'll admit to is if I'm not getting enough from food, the things that I think I need, I do supplement. So while I think it's best to get things from food, I will supplement in things that I know that I may be deficient in.
Tell me a little bit more about that.
Okay, so for one, I do suffer from a little inflammation that can give me pain from time to time. And I'm one of those people who don't want to take Tylenol and Advil all the time. So I do take anti-inflammatory supplements. So I do take supplements that have turmeric or ginger or boswellia, things to decrease inflammation. And
Right.
I also take something for my inflammation called SPM Actives, which I use products by a company called Metagenics. I'm not plugging anyone, but that's my personal thing that I do. So I will supplement those things to decrease inflammation when I realize things are flaring with myself, particularly like if I'm getting a little pain here and there. We're getting older. Things are starting to ache.
Listen, don't tell me about age. When people say age ain't nothing but a number, my knees say otherwise.
Exactly. Come see me. And then I do try to increase activity, right? So while I admit I'm not one that wants to go to the gym and I don't want to be on machines, right? But I do like to walk. So if that means like in between patients, I tell my staff I'll be right back or text me when the patient comes. If I get like, you know, a lap or two around the block, I'll do that. Sometimes I meet up with my neighbor in the morning and we'll go for a walk. So I realize I like doing outdoor things. So going for a walk in nature is more of my thing than to get on a machine. And I think people underestimate like how good walking could be for you. So I'm like, it's something simple that most of us can do. You could do it at your pace and then, you know, start to advance it and pick it up. So I say, you know, just move your body. I'm not telling you to do something elaborate.
One of the things that you talked about walking outside is actually very helpful just to connect with nature, actually feel some of the sun rays on your face, and really get acclimated with being outside and enjoying your surroundings because it is helpful to your soul, really, just to recharge. And that's very important. And sometimes we're so busy, we're on the go, we're thinking about the next thing or the next thing after that or the next thing, next thing after that, that we don't just sit down and be in the moment, whether that's just walking outside, enjoying the trees, et cetera, et cetera. It's good to really just connect.
Yeah, we need a little sunlight, right? We need some vitamin D. We need the air, right? We need to see the trees and hear the wind blow, right? It's good for stress as well. Walking in nature, they say, has so many health benefits, right?
Right.
So I think we underestimate like the little simple changes we can make. So I'm more of the incorporate the little things that I can easily obtain as
Right.
opposed to I have this master plan that I'm going to the gym 5 days a week and then I'm just going to fail.
So let's talk about stress management. So for me, I feel that stress is a thing that you really have to constantly try to mitigate and lessen in your life. And I'm very big on self-care as well. So whether that is scheduling a spa appointment or making sure you have just a little me time. And as a mother with young children, I don't often get that much me time, but you have to try to carve it out as much as you can.
Yeah.
So for my mother's birthday last month in August, I took her and some of her girlfriends to Sojo Spa simply
Oh,
because
yes.
I needed some of the me time myself, right?
Yes.
So
Yeah.
I was able to treat her, which it really felt good tapping into and giving back to people who also willingly give to me, but I also enjoy treating myself as well. So I say all of that to say, take time to really mitigate the stress in your life and really just pour it into yourself, because it's never fun trying to pour from an empty cup.
Yeah. And I think you have great insight, right? So you're realizing I don't have enough time for me, right? So I think that's the first step in realizing it. And I think as mothers, people feel guilty about wanting me time,
Right.
as if our only purpose in life is that we're just, it's, I'm just a mother and everything about me is about being a mother.
Right.
I think we have to understand that there's other aspects to our lives and it is important to take care of ourselves. So I
Of
think
course.
having the insight, the next step will be scheduling it, right? So I know I need this. Let me put it on my schedule, because we're likely people who follow schedules, right?
Of
Or,
course.
we're regimented people. So it's like,
By
I
a
just put it on
schedule.
the calendar.
I live by a schedule, whether it's my personal schedule or a work schedule. That's how I make sure that everyone's activities, along with mine, are well coordinated. So, I just wanted to touch on a few more things before we wrap it up.
Yes, yes.
With like-minded women, and it's especially great connecting with someone who's in the same position as me, striving for entrepreneurship, striving to be the best version of themselves that they can. And I know a part of that really is figuring out how we can collaborate in the future.
Yeah.
So some of the things that we've talked about is potentially doing some cooking with the doctor.
Yes.
And I'm looking
Yes.
forward to seeing how this evolves and where we go with it.
Yes, I am too. I think cooking with the doctors seems like an excellent idea. And I think, one, we could cook with your spices because we love them. Two, we can show some of the things that we like to eat that may be cultural dishes and how we can prepare them and they still taste good and still be healthy.
Right, right, right. So I'm looking forward to it. I can't wait to have you in the kitchen and see what we come up with. I also can't wait to see where we take things with lifestyle medicine.
Yes,
I'm
yes.
excited to have you on. I'm so happy you were able to join us.
And I hope people comment on what they want too, right? Like send us some DMs. Like, what are you interested in hearing about? What do you want? Is there something we can answer for you?
That would be awesome. And I completely forgot to mention, since it's Labor Day weekend coming up, I decided to put the signature spice box from the Spice Theory on sale. So we are having a Labor Day sale to promote the spice box. So if anyone is actually interested in trying our spices out, go over to www.shopspicetheory.com. Check out our signature spice box. It has all 5 of the spices in there, and use the code at checkout, Labor Day 25, and you can get 25% off.
That sounds amazing. And while we're doing a plug, I want to put a plug in for my anniversary celebration. It's been 2 years since opening Premier Pain Care and Wellness, and we're having an anniversary celebration September 15th, 6 p.m. to 8 p.m. At my office in Norwalk, Connecticut. So you can go to my website, Premier Pain Care and Wellness, and RSVP there from the link. Or just DM me if you're on here.
Well, I'll definitely be there, so I can't wait to see you.
Can't wait to see you.
Well, everyone, thank you so much. Thank you so much for joining us. Our links, our respective links are in our bios. So if you did not get the information, please feel free to go to our bios and you'll get the information there. Please visit us individually, come support us, and we look forward to having you guys again with us. Thank you so much, Jendai.
Thank you, everyone, for joining us, and thank you, Dr. Amos.
All right, thanks, guys. Have a good one.
All right, have a good night.
Bye. Be well.
Bye-bye.